Welcome to Start Before You're Ready, the podcast that proves that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment to begin your journey towards better health and happiness. I'm your host, Kelly Young. Remember, the first step is often the hardest, but it's always worth taking. Hey guys, it's Kelly, and I'm back with an episode of Start Before You're Ready that I have been talked into doing. So I have gotten several requests from my community to do a podcast about the Oscars. I had the incredible opportunity to go to the Oscars a couple weeks ago in LA with my husband, Andrew, and everyone's like, you need to do a podcast about the Oscars. And I was like, no, this is a podcast that's Start Before You're Ready. This is a podcast about health and fitness. I'm not talking about the Oscars. That's my personal life. That's not. But then I thought, you know what? These are the people that are listening to your podcast every week, Kelly, and they're asking you for something and you should deliver it. So before I start to tell you about the Oscars, which was insane, by the way, I do want to go over a few things that I think might be helpful for those that are in the health and nutrition space and thinking about their fitness. And the first one is something that I'm going to recommend to you guys. And I don't know if it will hit you with you as much as it does to me, but I get very few emails. I've actually been really disciplined about cleaning out my inbox and not getting so much communication from the outside. I always think if I want it, I can find it. But one email that I get and I read every single week is from James Clear. And if you don't know who James Clear is the author of Atomic Habits. It's the book I recommend the most. And I think not just me, I think everyone in the space of behavior change and habits recommends this book because it's simple. That's why it's really, really simple. And so is his email. The tagline of his email is the most wisdom per word of any newsletter on the web. And I actually agree with that. So every week I read it and I think, oh my gosh, this message is for me. And I just want to share the one that I read today. It always comes out on Thursday. I usually record my podcast on Thursday. And it's, your habits will hold you back more than your enemies ever will, which is good news because you can change your habits. You can't change your enemies. Stay focused on what you can control. And you've heard me say over and over again, and other guests on this podcast, control the controllables. What can we control? Because those are the only things that we should put our effort and energy into. Because if we put our effort and energy into things that we can't control, we're going to waste it. And energy is a very precious resource. So control the controllables. That's James Clear's version of it this week. And the other two things that I wanted to talk about, one is failure. I talk a lot about failure. I love to tell you all the things that are going great and all the successes that we had and shout outs to my members and all that. That's to me is really inspiring and motivating. I get motivated by other people more than anything. Like I need hard data. I need facts from actual people. That's what really inspires me. And one of the challenges that I gave myself, I talked about this back in episode number 75, was to try to get 40 people to 1,700 MEPs in 17 days. 40 people. And what does that mean? Let's just take it to, like, if you don't know what MEPs are, let's give it a different example. So basically it's work, it's time of exercise, exerting a certain amount of energy. And MEPs are based on heart rate, based on effort. We have a lot of people in our community that use the MyZone heart rate strap. That's how we're measuring the effort, but let's just call it a challenge. And so I didn't make my goal, which was 40 people to get 1,700 MEPs in 17 days, but I'm not disappointed about it. I mean, I wish I did, and I did kind of try last minute. I think the lesson for me, there's always a lesson, okay? It's not a loss, it's a lesson. And rather than chalking that up as a loss that we didn't make it to that, the lesson was that I needed to do more earlier in the game. I, like the last week, was like messaging people like, oh, you're not going to make it. Sending text messages and messaging people via the app. And I think it was too late. Like if you had fallen behind, if you had traveled, if you had worked, I barely got to it. And you know how much I work out. So it wasn't an easy challenge. And a lot of people got way more MEPs than they usually do. Some people put their belt back on. They haven't used their belt in a while. They're like, oh, I'll do it just to help. And you know what? excellent. But the real win was one of my husband's friends. I had sent him a My Zone belt because he wanted help getting motivated to get back into exercise. And I texted him the day and he was like at 1,500 MEPs and he lives up north and it was freezing rain and he went back out to try to get to his MEPs. And even though he didn't realize that the gray MEPs don't count. So even though he thought he had gotten it, he wasn't quite there. But guess what? Who cares? Look at the extra effort that was put in to do it. And on that same note, I had one of my longest term male boot campers, Mark Ferris, been with me since day one. And he was back. He came to the studio that morning of the last day of the MEP challenge, which was Monday. And sweet Mag was like, why are you here? You don't usually work out in the morning. And he's like, yeah, I need to do a double today because I need to get to my MEPs. I mean, hello, all I need is one. All I need is one person. Mark's in his 60s. He's in phenomenal shape. I have no problem with him doing 2 workouts in one day. But just the fact that he put in that extra effort for the challenge meant a lot. So I'm going to keep putting these challenges out there. I think if we crush a challenge, then it's like, was that really a challenge, Kelly? If like we nail it, I knew that was going to be a push. We didn't quite make it. Sometimes we will, sometimes we won't. I love challenges. Speaking of challenges, oh my goodness. You guys, I put a challenge out. So I had a special workout on Saturday because 2 of my boot campers were having a birthday on a Saturday. They're 2 very regular boot campers. And the date is the 21st. It was March 21st. So I was like, had all this stuff with 21. We were doing 21 reps and 21 minutes and all this. And their birthday was on the 21st. And afterwards I was like, hey guys, I've been holding off on doing another challenge or anything because I feel like I still catching up and overwhelmed, but I think I'm ready. I was thinking like some kind of 21-day challenge. I had just had someone on my podcast that you guys, I hope, listened to the podcast with Yvette last week. And she had talked about reaching out to people, about the power of sending a text message saying, I'm thinking of you. So I kind of had in my head, we were going to do some kind of challenge about like reaching out. But no, my boot campers had another idea. They said, how about an ab challenge? And I don't know that I would have done a 21-day ab challenge. That's a lot. But I said, okay, if you guys, that's what you want. I'm really trying to listen to my people, just like why I'm doing this podcast on the Oscars. And so they said, how about an ab challenge? And I said, okay. So we started, well, by the time this comes out, it will be a few days. But if you're hearing this and you're like, wait a minute, there's an ab challenge, I want in, I'll let you in. Maybe you could do a 14-day ab challenge or a 20-day ab challenge. It's a private Facebook group. I'm doing a 5-minute ab workout every day. Last time I did this challenge, it was also very popular, but the feedback that I got was that they wanted the workout to be a little bit longer. I was like, okay. It is free, and it's really just to get people motivated or just to get people doing something different. A lot of people, when I asked them why they were doing the challenge, they just said, I'm just feeling a little stuck right now. I just need a little extra motivation, the accountability. Some people are uber focused on their abs, and I'm not going to lie. These I've done a handful of them already, and these ab workouts are working. I already feel them working. They are good ab workouts. They're very thought out in that I'm kind of hitting things from different directions and making them really powerful and impactful. I'm already getting messages from people that they're sore. So that's going on to the 21-day ab challenge. So listen to your people is, I guess, the theme of today's podcast. And now I'm going to tell you about the Oscars. So my word for 2026 is audacious. And I've shared that on this podcast before. I don't really 100% know why I picked that word. Now I do, because we're 3 months into the year and I've used it in such an extreme way. So there's just been several things that have happened this year that were not planned by any means that feel so out of character for me and just feel like, oh my gosh, Kelly, I can't believe you did that type thing. And this experience at the Oscars was absolutely one of them. So my husband was scheduled to have hip surgery in the middle of March. And this isn't something I've been begging for, and we've been thinking about and planning and worried about, and when's the right time? There's not a right time. We just got to do it. He can't tie his shoes. He really, really needed it. And he had come up with this date. It's not ideal. It's my son's last year of lacrosse, my youngest son. So we still have to work around that. More on that later. I am now the driver, which is super scary. But why am I telling you that? Because he got the invitation. We were walking in the house and he got an email invitation from a company that they did business with, that Capital One does business with. And he's like, oh my gosh, I got an invitation to the Oscars. And I'm screamed. I'm like, we're going. Because we never do anything. We're always like, we have this, we have that, we can't do this. And I'm like, we're going. I don't care when it is, we're going. And then he said the date. I'm like, you can't go. You have your hip surgery. He's like, I can change it. I'm like, you're not changing it. Anyone who's had a big surgery understands it's not just the surgery. It's all the appointments leading up to it. He had to see everybody, cardiologist, dentist, name it, endocrinologist, everyone, a phlebotomist, everyone. He had to see everybody. And he's in good health. But he has had blood clots before, and that's part of why they had to be extra cautious. They had to put this mesh in. Anyway, so I was like, you're not changing your appointment. We're not going. I don't care. Yes, I would love to go, obviously, but we're not going. And then we didn't even say another word about it. And then he kept I rescheduled it. It wasn't that much later. It was the next week, and I was like, okay. So I really didn't get my head around the fact that we were going. I don't even know that much about the Oscars. I just didn't even know. I was just like, yes, we're going. And busy season, feeling always trying to get caught up. But I was like, okay, going to the Oscars, what am I going to do? I guess a lot of people would be like, I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to do this. But I'm like, you know what? I always look, I didn't want to lose weight. I just wanted to feel my best. I wanted to hydrate and sleep. Those are my two things. I'm like, I'm going to be uber hydrated and uber well rested. Those are going to be my two focuses going in to looking my best at the Oscars. Well, ironically, I think the night before we left, we drove to Farmville. We got home at 1 a.m. It just didn't work out there rested. But you guys don't care about that. Okay, let me talk about the part that you guys care about. Okay, so we were invited by a client and we were guests. Now, my favorite kind of vacation is a vacation with an itinerary where it's there's a schedule. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I really do think I like that. And when Andrew read me the schedule for the weekend, I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, no way. Is this really happening? So we got there the first night and we flew into LA. And there was a rooftop event and they had a suite. So the suite that we went into, and everyone I'm not going to say who invited us, but everyone that was a part of that organization was incredible. The nicest, most hospitable, generous, thoughtful, kind, amazing people. And, they're just excited about it as us. This is a big deal for everybody, right? So we get there and she was talking about who usually stays, the Kardashians stay in the suite, Beyonce stays in the suite, and they were mad, who's got my suite, because they had rented out this whole suite. So already I was like, oh my gosh, I'm videoing the suite. I'm trying to be this is cool, this is normal, this is what I always do. Not at all. And so we had a lovely dinner out on the rooftop, LA. I always said I didn't like LA. I changed my mind. I like LA now. I like this version of LA. I've been to the convention center. I just think it's cool. I mean, the geography alone is just super cool. You've got oceans, you've got mountains. It's just amazing. And so the next day, Andrew's old boss actually lives in LA and he loves him. And I love him and his wife. And we haven't seen him really in years. And we had the opportunity to go visit them, which was really great. We didn't get a car, so we Ubered there. And our Uber driver was just so fun and just talked about every house we drove by. We got the best tour driving through, I guess you call it the mountains, the valleys, but driving through and just hearing all that. It was just an amazing day. Start to finish, it was an amazing day. The Perlins are just an incredible couple that inspire me, as they're just so family focused, and I just felt very lucky to be able to sit down and share a meal with them and just kind of look ahead a little bit. It's always fun to be around people that are a little bit older than you, because you're like, okay, that's how I want that to look, like how they are. Especially when they said they have all 3 meals together. I looked at Andrew and I was like, we're doing that. And he's like, oh. But but anyway, it was just lovely. And then that day was the health and wellness day, which I was disappointed because there was a Pilates class in the morning. They had brought in an instructor and they were doing like a private Pilates class, but we didn't do that because we wanted to go see the Perlins, which was totally worth it. But when we got back, we were able to partake in the health and wellness expo, which they had IVs, which I'd never had an IV before. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I would do that again in a heartbeat. Basically, they're just pumping vitamins into you to make you feel good the next day. I did feel good the next day. I felt good anyway. I don't think there was going to be much that didn't make me feel good. And then they had massage, which was amazing. And then they had shopping. So they had this little area where the place where the event was sponsoring, and they wanted us to pick a gift. I was like, I know a lot of people are used to this. I'm not. So it was just really amazing to me. And that night we went to dinner, and it was just a really special dinner. And we just had so much fun. I just met all new people. I don't think I know as much. I'm so lit up by meeting new people that I feel like I could connect with, and I felt like I could be myself with. I loved seeing Andrew around these people. He was totally himself. It was not like, even though the stuff was stuffy, like the places were very nice and chic and amazing, it didn't feel that way at all. Everyone was amazing. So the next day was the Oscars, and that was amazing because they had experience where we got to do hair and makeup, which I personally loved. I know some people don't like, they're like, oh, I like to do my hair myself. I'm not one of those people. I love anything. I love anything done for me. Massage, facial, hair, anything. That's like my favorite thing in the world. And getting my makeup done makes me nervous because I don't look good in a lot of makeup because of my age. It took a while. The makeup took a while. I was like, she's going crazy here. But I actually loved the way it looked. In fact, I took a picture. I got back to our hotel and I went out on the balcony. I took a picture and I sent it to Lindsay and my daughter, and she wrote back something cute. I was like, this is like going to be my new profile picture, because looked like I was kind of wearing like workout clothes, even though I was wearing I was like, this could totally be my profile picture. So I changed my profile picture on Instagram. That's audacious, to put this like glam shot, makeup, eyelashes, hair done. And that's like as if I always look like that. I do not always look like that. Everybody knows I don't always look like that, but I still love that is what I did, because I am really leaning into this word. Okay. Well, I'm going to back up a little bit and talk about the dress. So everyone, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? I'm like, oh, I'm going to do our Rent the Runway. I love Rent the Runway. Shout out to Rent the Runway. I've had the best luck with Rent the Runway, always for weddings, always for special occasions. They do a great job for me. It's worked out beautifully for me. I've had great success with them. I do it sometimes just casually, just like sunglasses, a purse, pair of jeans. If I have another shipment that month and I don't need anything fancy, but I had gotten Rent the Runway and it came Monday. Okay. I would just because I feel like I'm getting a little bit of slack, like I wasn't ready. It came Monday. I tried on all the dresses. I loved them all. There wasn't certain ones I thought were going to be harder to wear from worried about your strap, worried about whatever. But I love them all. I was like, I can wear one of these. I can make one of these work for sure. And then I sent the one I was going to wear to my friend, and she's like, that's not Oscars. And I was like, oh my God. Well, that's what I have to wear. And it's now, maybe it was the week. So yeah, I still had time. So I was looking for dresses online. I didn't really have a lot of time. And I saw this dress. I was really just going to back up, get a dress online. Then I saw this dress that was coral, which is the color of my prom dress, which is my signature color, which is my favorite color in the world. It was halter, which is what my wedding dress was, because I love halter because I think it's very easy to wear and it just looks good with a more athletic build. And it was supposed to come Monday and we were leaving on Friday. I was like, perfect. It's coming Monday. That's great. I'll have time to make a decision. And then I started asking my classes if I could borrow a dress because I didn't have a dress and this whole thing, but I did not have a dress. The dress said, this has been happening with FedEx lately. It said every single day it said it was coming. It was being delivered, being delivered, being delivered. And it didn't come. And then Thursday, I was getting my hair done before I left, and it said it was being delivered. I'm like, well, if it's not being delivered, then I don't have a dress, or I'm wearing what is not probably ideal for the Oscars. Anyway, so it was delivered, and I tried it on, and I loved it. I was like, well, too much information, but I'm like, I don't even need to wear a bra. I can wear whatever shoes I want. This is amazing. This is so easy to wear. It's so comfortable. I didn't have to suck it in. I didn't have to, it was like, just, that's what I care about with a dress. And it was me. It was a bright, fun color. And that turned out to be huge in my favor. So anyway, so that was the whole story with the dress. But the fact that it did not come until Thursday at 4:30 when we were leaving Friday at 8 in the morning, it was a little bit scary. So the Oscars, that's what everyone cares about. And I don't have that much time. But the glitch of the Oscars was that it took us 2 hours and 15 minutes to go 2 miles, basically, which it makes a lot of sense. They had orchestrated everything perfectly. There was a glitch. Oh, there was protesters. That's what it was. There was protesters. So that was part of our delay. Also, our driver was just like, didn't want to switch lanes. Anyway, so as the whole time we're in there, we're missed because we had an opportunity to be on the carpet, And that was really the biggest thing, I guess. I mean, I didn't even think about it as the biggest thing. I just thought of going to the Oscars as the biggest thing. But then Andrew kind of looked at me, he's like, it's almost 4:00. We're not gonna make the carpet. I'm like, well, I'm the optimist. I'm like, well, he's like, no, everyone will be in, Kelly. Everyone's gonna be in their seats. There's gonna be no carpet. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of sad, but what are we gonna do, right? So we made it minutes before maybe 15, but that's when all the good people were out. So we saw everybody. We were like inches for everybody. People kept selling me snippets of us on entertainment because we were in the background of everybody's pictures. It was crazy. There was kids cheering. It was just, you just get the goosebumps. It was just, I'm not I don't have that fan, oh my gosh, I'd love to see. But everyone I saw, I was way more excited to see them than I thought I'd be. So it was pretty amazing. And I also saw the people that we knew more of the people of our generation, which if you haven't seen my Instagram, I shared some of them. Andrew got some of Andrew's pictures are better than mine. I need to go back and share his pictures because he got the background of a lot of things that I didn't even know. I'm like, oh my God, that's Steven Spielberg. Oh my God. There's so many people, but we were really, really right there, which was incredible and just a surreal experience. And then the next part was that we had an opportunity to be to go down to the main level. We had access to the main level, which is where all the stars go, because that's where you can't drink it all in the theater. But if you want to go celebrate and have a drink after or just get out of your seats, that's where they go. So that's where we really, really saw a lot of people. And that's where we probably had the most fun because one of the guys that I was with was not shy at all. And someone would come out with their Oscar and he would just talk, he'd be like, who's that? And then someone would tell him and he'd go up to them and be like, I love your work. And huge fan. And he was getting all these pictures. I'm not gonna there's people that's not my place. It's just how I am. I'm not gonna ask for a picture with somebody. I was glad to just be in the room with them and be part of that moment. It is just so much celebration when you think about these careers and especially in that industry, the sacrifices that are made to do what they do and just being part of that level of celebration was really emotional for me. I felt wow, this is the ultimate for this career or for some people, maybe that's the ultimate in life. And it was just really amazing to be a part of it. And I just want to close it by saying, a lot of my head talk was you're not supposed to be here, or how I wear, how I dress, how I walk, how I what. That's not Oscars. What are you doing here, Kelly? But you know what? I didn't feel that way at all. I felt like myself, 100%. I just felt like myself. Andrew looked amazing. He got a new tux. He has a tux for whatever we need tuxes for. And I felt grateful to be with him. I felt grateful to have said yes to the opportunity, and it was just a ton of fun. So I'm sure there's more you guys want to know, and this maybe isn't why you wanted to hear about the Oscars, but this is my version of the Oscars. And if you have any other questions, let me know. But going to the Oscars was definitely a start before you're ready experience. Thanks so much for listening. If you like this podcast, or if you're enjoying the podcast in general, I would really appreciate it if you could follow. Follow is really the biggest thing. And then writing a review would be absolutely amazing as well. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Start Before You're Ready. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend who might need a little motivation. Ready to start your own journey? Check out our workouts and nutrition coaching programs at kellysbootcamp.net. You can choose from in-person sessions or virtual programs. Set up a complimentary coaching session to get started. Follow along with me and the show on social media at Kellys_bootcamp. Until next time, this is Kelly Young reminding you that the best time to start is always now.